Hey guys, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto and welcome to the channel. Today we're looking at quite a unique vehicle. It's a 1991 Nissan Silvia, and then this one has been converted with the front end of a 180 SX. And so while in Japan this is quite an interesting looking vehicle, they never had anything like this. The USDM version of the 240 SX could come in fastback and notchback styles. Now this one is bought in Japan at the auction here and is going to be exported to the USA and has the turbo SR20 engine in it, rear wheel drive, and it has a lot of modifications to make it faster and make it more driftable, I guess you could say. And so there's an engine swap to a later model version of the SR20. I believe this one comes out of the S14. Has modified front mount intercooler, possible a different turbo, but I can't really tell. You can't see that well down in there. Pillow suspension, or pillow upper mounts as they call them here in Japan. This is a torque damper, so that's when the engine, the torque of the engine will move it on its mounts. So the mounts are either made out of polyurethane or rubber. And then when you go from, like, for example, high speed full throttle down to no speed or back and forth like that, it tends to twist the engine a lot, and that kind of dampens that to give you, I guess, the super drift power. Okay, so it does say boost has been increased. The auction told us that in the auction report, and I will get to that in a second. I just want to say the oil is super black, and we don't like super black oil, so I recommend to the buyer change the oil. Of course, we can do that kind of stuff here in Japan if you want, but most buyers want to get the car as soon as possible, so it's really up to you if you want that. And then coolant looks to be fine. And we got, I guess, painted strut tower tops. That's cool. I'm going to lower the hood here. There isn't any signs of rust inside here, except for on the top of the brake booster has some surface rust there. And then the top of this headlight, if you look carefully in here, has some rust. Okay, so I'm going to lower the hood. We're going to talk about the auction sheet in a second here. There we go. Let's give you a quick look of the vehicle. You can see it has wide fenders front and rear, and then the pop-up headlights are from the 180. So it's a Onevia, which is the opposite of a Sil 80 for those who know. And for those who don't know, these are common drift cars. Drift cars often push their nose into the corner and hit the wall. And so you need to get a new front end when you do that. And so sometimes you would put on the other version of the front end on it in order to save money. Usually, I guess the beginning of it came because the Silvia front end was cheaper than the 180 front end, and so people would pop that on instead. But then this one's backwards, and so it's more of a style thing. And I have to say, the car looks really cool, especially in this nice blue color. But more on that in a second. Oh, car's in the way. Sorry. Okay, so let's go over the auction sheet here. Now this car is already purchased. You won't be able to come and buy this. The owner is going to import this to the USA. All right, so, and I'm just going to translate this for you, and forgive me, there's a lot of notes on here, and I didn't originally translate this one. Naoko in our office did, and so I don't remember what it's written, so I'm going to be translating it fresh, and it might be a little bit challenging there. So it's 99,877 kilometers, so nice low mileage, but it has been modified for drifting, and so it's not really in the condition of a typical car with 99,877 kilometers. Really good for racing, a little bit of a compromise for street driving, but to each their own. Some people like this kind of thing for a street car. It has a modified title because the vehicle has been modified. It's a KPS 13 is the chassis code. Auction grade is 3. Interior grade is C, 5-speed manual. It runs a Power FC computer with a boost up, it says. Several modifications, and so see yourself in person for details about that. Manual transmission and the Hikis cancel, and the brakes have been swapped. Now, they don't say exactly about the brakes, but they are Skyline GTR brakes with Skyline GTR 5 hub conversion and GTR wheels. Now, it is kind of funny because the wheels sink in there quite a bit. So the GTR wheels are typically quite a bit wider for this chassis. You can fit them with some fender rolling, but you can see here you got a lot more room than that. And I believe that these are an 8-inch wide wheel for the GTR. Front and rear are the same. Okay, rear upper arms have been changed, and the front, something with the front suspension. Sorry, can't read that. Color changed, car and transmission and engine swap. Okay, now the high kiss cancel, what that is it's the four-wheel steering system in the car, and people who sports race the car or spiritedly drive it, they usually don't like the four-wheel steering because it makes it feel a little bit weird and unnatural. Okay, so the grade is not known. They thought that this was a Silvia K's, but it may be a Q's that has been converted to a K's because of the engine swap, so they don't know, and so they're writing that on there. Aftermarket driver's seat is ripped. This is from the inspector. This is from the seller. So aftermarket driver's seat is ripped. Aftermarket steering wheel, the rim is, steering wheel is peeling and ripped. Interior liner is ripped and one part is modified. There's speakers edited into the doors. Interior dirty and wear. Various aftermarket parts. Dashboard is cracked large. Kind of a problem on the S13 chassis. Lots of cracked dashboards, unfortunately. Aftermarket wheels scratched with a question mark on the aftermarket. They are official Nissan, but they're not for this car. Winter tires on there, which is kind of weird. They are actually pretty good with lots of tread on them, but winter tires in this car probably is a bad thing. Left and right front inner panels have been dented and have modifications on them. One part a hole is cut, and you need that in order to fit a front mount intercooler on there. You can see big intercooler in there. Looks good. Okay, bear with me for a sec. We're almost done here. Front mask conversion. That's the Japanese word for changing the front to a different look. Okay, floor side member scratched and dented. Underside has corrosion. Sadly, I couldn't get a camera underneath there because I can't even get 4 fingers under the car, and so I don't know where the corrosion is, unfortunately. What else do we got? Aftermarket exterior body fenders, and they have been screwed on, the auction sheet says. So you can see the screws to put this one on, and if you stick your fingers up in here, you're gonna feel no original fender. It's been cut off and then welded in there. Now, I don't feel any rust when I reach around, but when they do cut it, you have to make sure you do it properly. So if this was my car, what I would do is I'd take off the wheels and then check carefully underneath there to make sure that nothing has to be treated. Okay, what else do we got here? Exterior has been some repair marks for the exterior, and underside has been painted. Rear panel, rear floor modifications to them, left and right. Rear tire house inner sections, corrosion holes. Okay, so there is some corrosion in there. That would be the panel up in there. Up in there. This is my gangster talk. Hopefully I'm wondering how people who view this channel as the first time are going to react to that. This guy's an idiot. Various scratches, dents, and paint wave. And then looking at the body here, cover on the side skirt comes up on one section. Pretty common for aftermarket side skirts. See? Helicopter overhead. And what else do we have? Paint is unclear on the hood and a different color on the hood, unclear on the roof. Here's the unclear section. Some sort of a damage there to the paint. Paint cracks on the front fender here, and that's basically it. Oh, and the Y2 is a big crack on the front bumper. Now, if those markings don't make sense to you on the diagram, there's a full explanation of that on the website. Oh. Now usually there's not that many marks on there for the auction sheet, but this one has a lot of modifications. Now they don't say, but it comes with a full drift style differential, and that's very good to know because when you turn tightly, it locks the differential and one of your wheels hops when you're at parking lot speeds. And so to people who don't know about that, they're gonna think something's broken, but that's the way that it's supposed to be. And if you want to do good drifting, you need something like that. Okay, so you can see the wide body there. You can hear the fuel pump, so it's been modified. Cool diffuser in the back with big exhaust that's not too loud. Aftermarket tail lights on there. Condition of the paint, it's not perfect. It looks like it was kind of quickly done, but the image of the vehicle and what it looks like with this color of paint is really good. You can see the vents there after the wheels. Side skirts are big. Now, the side skirts have a decal on them that has been painted over, and I don't know why they would do that because it's a little bit weird, but have a look here. And this side skirt has lots of scrapes on it. See the words? It says like technical performance something. Might be able to see it better from this angle. Okay, look at all those vents. So typically there's like a vent here. Oh, there it is. So the vent here, air goes in, touches your Skyline brakes, GTR brakes. Air comes out here, and then goes back in here. And then, I don't think it actually goes there. And I think most of that's just for the looks. Okay, so the fiberglass over fender piece here, watch, it'll look wavy. That's because fiberglass does this when it's thin fiberglass, and this is very common on this type of car. Okay, same thing on the front, but not as bad. Okay, I think the gray hood looks cool. I think the overall car looks great. In the sun, the paint shines a lot. It has a lot of pearlescent look, and I think that they were going for a different color at the very bottom and then from the top, because you'll notice that at the bottom, the lips, they're slightly different color. So it's, I think they wanted to do like a color, gradual color look. You can see it here pretty easily. Up here and down there are different colors. So, don't know about that. Aftermarket Rebrig headlights, aftermarket marker lights. Okay. And this is cool, they converted the dashboard over to the 180 dashboard so that you can pop up the headlights when the headlights are off. And that's a huge deal, because when I used to drive an 8.6, I drove around everywhere with the headlights in the up position, even if I wasn't using them, which is kind of dorky, but fun. Oh good, Skyline GTR brakes in the back too. Nice, vented discs in the back, very good. And fuel door sunken in for the wide body. All right, for interior, we have a tinted window that is kind of peeling a bit. Going inside, door card in good shape. Speaker edition was ghetto done. And then we have limited slip differential is a Cusco MZ Type RS. It says on the sticker there. Now I don't know if that's the diff that's in there right now, but they have a sticker on there to say, look at me, I got a diff. When the car goes around a corner, then don't bother worrying about that. Okay, so stock seat for passenger, and I think a pretty cool seat for the driver. I've seen a lot of aftermarket seats in this line of work. This one, pretty different. Probably easier to get into compared to most bucket seats because it's not that tall of sides here compared to a lot of them. Okay, they have felt put on there for the rips. Aftermarket steering wheel. Now I did already get a report of the interior, so I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly. AC works, it's nice and strong. We have the cat light on. Extra gauges there, and they all seem to work. We got boost. We got oil, that one there's oil pressure, and then exhaust temp over there. Here's the Power FC controller for the computer if you want to control your things on the go, or if you want to, like everyone's going to ask, what's that? And you can say, well, my car is so cool that you can program it with this program thingy, and I'm basically cooler than you. Okay, cracking the dashboard there, and another one up here. Power steering works well, shifting works well. Clutch is a heavy duty one that is a little bit more difficult than a stock one, but pretty easy to do as far as aftermarket ones go. And we have a switch box here and a box here for the gauges. Aftermarket CD player in there. Vehicle drives pretty nicely. I haven't taken it for a full speed run, so I don't know how fast it is. I don't really want to be doing that in a car that I don't know very well. It's best to get things checked over before you go and full boost it. We did have one customer who did that, and it turned out that the boost spiked to like way too much and blew a head gasket because the boost cut off, it just wouldn't kick in. It was on an R34 GTR. It's sad. Okay, so overall pretty cool looking car. The trunk, it's got a couple of things in it, so I'm not really going to open it. Just a regular Silvia trunk. And I guess that's going to be it for this walk around. So hope you enjoyed it. Usually these videos are about 10 minutes or so. This one's a little bit longer because there's more things to go over. But I think overall pretty good looking drift car. Has some things here or there if you want to turn it into a street car, but generally in better condition than your average full spec drift car. And so that will be the end. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.